Hello, hello. Yes, yes, yes. We are here. This is the second day. This is the second day of our Get Back to Healthy Living series. Crush your cravings. And we have our live cooking demo today. And you are going to enjoy. This is going to be so good because we're going to show you how to prepare a hard, healthy meal without a lot of salt. In fact, low sodium. That's it. And it's going to be good for you. And we are following the guidelines. This could be listed under Mediterranean eating or the DASH eating plan, DASH dietary approach to stop hypertension. And this type of cuisine that we're cooking, it's heart healthy, but it has been researched. The DASH diet has been researched time and time again, and the Mediterranean is top on the list. And why they are both top on the list? Because they are user friendly as well and sustainable. And so that's what is the best way to promote healthy living and healthy eating if it is easy to do and easy to follow. And you can follow this type of eating plan forever. It's a lifetime, right? It's a lifetime choice. So today we are doing I think hopefully you guys got the ingredients, you download the ingredients, but we're cooking the spicy mango chicken medley, okay? And for some of you guys, I know with the mango, it might not be in season, but you can just use your favorite vegetable salsa, your fresh salsa, whatever you want to put on it as a garnish. But we won't go, I won't keep talking and talking. We got to get on and eat. Today, we have a special guest, and I told you that we have a special guest joining us, Isaac Floyd, and he will start in a little bit so that we can get down to cooking. But I want to remind all of you guys, those of you that will see the last night, even if you weren't there, you see last night where we talked about cravings, unhealthy food cravings and food addiction. And one of the things our strategy was to have a plan of action and to have a healthy meal plan ready, do conscious eating, right? And so that's what we're doing today. These are the type of things. That's why I'm excited for this cooking demo, because these are the type of things that we'll be doing on our live coaching part. That's a part of our 12-week comprehensive online program, our step-by-step weight loss bootcamp masterclass. And so I'm excited. I want you to, right after this cooking demo, I want you to go and sign up. Go to VickiDoeFitness.com, scroll down, hit Bootcamp, and you're going to sign up for our 12-week comprehensive online weight loss program. And I can't wait to see you there. We do have a special going on right now. If you use the promo code CRUSH, CRUSH, you will be able to get 50% off of our step-by-step weight loss bootcamp masterclass program. So enough of me talking. Hey, let's get started cooking. So what do you say, Isaac? You gonna hook us up?
Oh, let's get into it. Let's do it.
Let's do it, right?
All right. Today, well, first of all, my name is Isaac Floyd, and I am a food scientist, nutrition professor. I've worked a lot with Dr. Doe on some very awesome projects, just so you guys know where I'm coming from. And today we are making spicy mango chicken medley. So this is, as Dr. Doe mentioned, a very, flavor-filled, heart-healthy dish, right? And our motto, what we really live by, is that we don't have to sacrifice flavor for nutrition. So this is a flavor packed dish. Delicious dish. As you guys can see, I'm rocking my apron. There's only a few people that can get me in an apron, and Dr. Doe is one of them. And I have to, have my health is wealth apron because we're gonna really tell y'all why health really is wealth. So we're gonna actually start by marinating our vegetables. And in a perfect world, we'll do them for at least a couple hours, but even a few minutes in this marinade will really make a difference. So what we're gonna do, you guys should have gotten your shopping list. And if not, you can always come back and watch it. I know Dr. Doe will have this available for recording. So make sure you have everything ready and prepped. But the first thing we're going to do is marinate our vegetables. And I know a lot of people are like, marinate your vegetables. We've heard of marinated steak, marinated chicken, but not quite vegetables. So with that said, we're going to take our veggies. We got our red bell peppers here. And are you guys able to add the spotlight for the second camera, for the skillet, while I show the vegetables? You should be able to do both at the same time. But either way, we have our vegetables here, which we'll toss in our freezer bag. Red bell peppers. We have our yellow bell peppers. Really beautiful. I always like to stop and admire, our food because we all love good food, right? And sometimes, we get caught up in the processed food and the packaging and the labels. And quite frankly, what do they use to pull us to these processed foods and these food labels? They use colors, right? They use colors, they use promises, etc. But we can see these beautiful colors right here in nature, and this is the types of food that we should be eating. So we're gonna throw our red and our yellow bell peppers into our bag. We got some chopped broccoli here. We gave you a recommendation on some very nutrient-dense vegetables, but obviously, we always encourage creativity. So your favorite stir-fry vegetables will work just fine for this recipe. So once you get your vegetables in that sandwich bag, or freezer bag rather, we're gonna add our vinegar. So let's get this out of the way. We're gonna add quite a bit of vinegar. And the good thing about the sandwich bag is that we don't have to fill it all the way up. We can really kind of squeeze the air out and get a good distribution of this vinegar. So we're gonna use this vinegar to really marinate. And you can use apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, whatever your favorite vinegar is. And you can add some diced onions, some seasonings, some garlic. I'm gonna do a little bit of garlic. I actually have here garlic puree, onion, garlic, and jalapenos, but you can do any combination of them, any combination of your favorite, herbs, spices. So this is pureed red onion, jalapeno, and garlic. So you can do minced garlic here, you can do minced onion, minced jalapeno, what have you. But as we mentioned, Dr. Doe can definitely, attest to emphasizing sodium-free seasoning, right? Because we're used to, this don't really taste good. I need to add some salt. But there's a lot of things that we can add to our dishes and to our recipes, and even to our plate once it's done, to add flavor without necessarily adding salt. Because as people, right, being happy and enjoying our food, it's not just about salt. It's about an experience. It's about flavor. So add our onion, garlic, what have you. Then we're going to add our sodium-free seasoning. So Miss Dash is an excellent one. We love Miss Dash because it's a very wide variety of spices. So you can do the extra spicy, the lemon pepper, garlic herb, onion herb, whatever you want. I have a little bit of the spicy here. I'm going to add and a little bit of lemon pepper. And the thing with sodium-free seasonings is you can really be as generous as you want, but if you are using a more traditional seasoning blend like Weaver that may have sodium, be very mindful because that sodium can pile up, but we don't have to worry about that here. So next we're gonna just close our bag, squeeze the air out. And I squeeze. That third seasoning is nice and distributed. The vegetables are going to soak up that vinegar, soak up that, and we'll work on our chicken marinade next while this soaks up and have a little bit of talk. But right now, get that a nice. That's a little. That's okay. Be careful. Don't let your bag burst. Get veggies in here. All right, you guys switch me back to camera, the first camera. Awesome. Awesome. So we have our veggies nice and marinated here going. And we're going to set those aside. So now we're going to do the same thing with our meat. So we have our shopping list here. We have our meat. So the thing with meat, I get a lot of questions on marinating meat. And it's important that when you're using lean meats, like chicken breast, like lean fish, like a cod or a mahi, sea bass, these more lean fish and lean meats, you don't want to do too much vinegar in your marinade. So that's one place where a lot of people can go wrong. They do the vinegar, they think it's the meat, but what can happen is with lean meats, the vinegar can pull the water out of the meat, which can leave you with some really dry meat. So vinegar is better for marinating like steaks, things like that. But with our chicken, we're going to do an oil-based marinade. And I know some people are a little bit hesitant with their oil because we know that oil can add a lot of calories, right? Oil can be very dense. It's calorie dense, it is. But olive oil, as we know, is a good fat. It's a more healthy fat. And the reason why that is because it is mostly unfat. So we probably all heard about, good fat versus bad fat. And we talk more about that in Bootcamp. We go a deep dive in, different ingredients, including good and bad fat. But our unsaturated fat, we know, is more heart healthy. So the thing when deciding how much to use, about a tablespoon of fat is a good serving size. It's a good serving size of fat for one meal, right? And we have, Dr. Doe is showing a little olive oil there. You can use regular olive oil or extra virgin. I have here some gigantic jar of olive oil as well. But as you can see, when deciding on healthy fat, we can look at the food label. And we see here that olive oil specifically, it has 14 grams of fat with 2 grams of saturated fat, which means we have 12 grams of unsaturated fat. So that ratio of unsaturated fat to saturated fat, you're always going to probably have about maybe 2 to 4 grams of saturated fat. But if you have that huge ratio of unsaturated fat to saturated fat, that is a clue that you have a very good quality fat here. So again, when deciding how much to use, we have 1 tablespoon per serving, right? And you want to be mindful of your other dishes because if you have, say, avocado with your meal, then that's going to bring your tablespoon probably down to maybe half a tablespoon because you don't want to have 2 portions of fat in one meal, unless that's your goal. But typically, we want to have around 1 portion. So with that said, quiz, let's see if anybody can help me out on this one. If we're using 2 pounds of chicken, so if you're using 2 pounds, I'm using about probably 1 pound here, but if you're using 2 pounds of chicken, which is in our shopping list, you have if you want to have 1 tablespoon per serving, how much, and say a serving of chicken is a quarter pound, 1/4 of a pound. So you have 4 servings for every pound. If you're using 2 pounds and 1 tablespoon of olive oil is 1 serving, how much olive oil do we use for each serving to have 1 portion of olive oil? And anyone help me out here? You drop it in the chat or you can unmute and tell me. Anybody can help me out here? If our goal is to have 1 portion. So if we have 2 pounds of chicken, right, and we want to aim 2 pounds of chicken, which is actually 8 servings, 2 pounds of chicken. So we have 8 servings of chicken. We want 1 tablespoon per serving. How many tablespoons do we want? That's 8 tablespoons, which is almost a half a cup of olive oil. And Natalie says 8. All right, excellent. So that's about 8 tablespoons, about a half a cup. So here we're going for a little bit less because we may want to have a little avocado on the side. So we're doing about 2 to 4 tablespoons for this amount. But regardless, you just want to combine your marinade, so your chicken, your olive oil, your Ms. Dash, any other seasoning, your berry, red onion, minced garlic, whatever you want to do. But you want to end with a nice, delicious marinade. All right. So that is the goal. So now that we've had good talk, Dr. Doe, do you have anything you want to add maybe before we jump into cooking our vegetables? I think you're still on mute. I think you're muted, but okay, that's okay. So next we're going to cook our veggies.
The smoked paprika.
Oh, smoked paprika? Absolutely. That's one of your seasonings you like to add?
Yes, that's the, and then chipotle, the smoked chipotle. Man,
Oh,
that
yeah.
kicks it up a notch.
Yeah, the Chipotle seasoning it takes it to a whole nother level. I have to agree with that. That's a staple. They both add the flavor, and they both also add a nice pigment, a nice color to the dish as well. So we have our vegetables nice and marinated with our vinegar and our seasoning here. So our skillet's nice and hot. We're just gonna cook those in our skillet.
So what we're putting in the skillet?
Our veggies.
Okay, you're not putting any oil? No, you didn't say that.
No, you don't need any. Nope.
Okay.
We got a kind of vinegar in here, so you can throw them in. You don't want too much vinegar in that pan, but if you have your marinated vegetables with a little vinegar, that's all the steam you're gonna need. And we can actually definitely use the lid too.
Okay.
Yes. All right, so go ahead and put a lid on those veggies. A lid. Bam, let those cook. And as those cook, I'll take some questions, because as those cook, we will, after those cook, we'll do our protein. And actually, I will show you guys how to make a quick mango salsa while our vegetables. I'm gonna move that to the side, let that simmer. But does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Anyone want to unmute, ask any questions?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
So I like how with the vegetables that you marinate the vegetables and all that, but the question is, and we all know the answer, but we want to put it out there, you know, this just marinating your vegetables, stir fried a little bit, this within itself is a great meal to have, you know, and you got all the colorful vegetables and stuff. What do you think about that? Your vegetables and marinating them.
I think they're
That's a meal within itself. We don't have to have chicken all the time if we want to go plant-based.
Absolutely. I mean, marinated vegetables that make a great snack. I would add maybe a little bit of beans if you want to go plant-based so that you have enough protein, because it's very important that we do meet our protein needs. But a lot of people are under this impression that only can get protein from meat, which is not the case. We have edamame, we have all types of beans, black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, black-eyed peas, you know, cannellini beans. All of these typically have about 5 to sometimes 7 grams of protein per serving, which is awesome. We also have protein in our broccoli, again, our edamame, which typically has about 7 grams. Green peas are delicious, absolutely delicious for a stir fry. They can add about 5 grams of protein per serving. So absolutely. I mean, especially when we think of a good snack. I mean, you don't always have to have a sandwich or a meal. Snack. You can certainly do some nice vegetables. And anyone who ever has had a nice plate of vegetables, they can attest to probably a good feel, good, fresh, you know, nice feeling. So it really is all about the veggies. In fact, if I could sum up everything I've learned in what's now probably almost a decade of studying and working in nutrition, is that we need to eat more vegetables. We really do. As people, we need to eat more whole, fresh vegetables. And when people ask me about, you know, what is healthy eating? What is a healthy diet? Or is this food healthy? Is this meal healthy? I always tell my students and my clients that your meal, your food, it has different grades. You know, you can grade it on a few different things. Just as a student, if everybody's been a student at one point, they don't just give you one grade as a student. They don't just say, oh, you're A, you're a B, you're a C. No, they give you different grades on different subjects. So when it comes to your meals, your food, we can grade our food on whether or not it's natural. You know, natural to highly processed, that's one grade. So that's one component. There is the whole organic, which organic is not, you know, end all be all. Some people are like, well, I can't afford organic. That's okay. It's better to eat, you know, traditional or unorganic whole foods than to eat a diet that's very high in processed foods, quite frankly. I mean, if organic and that's your choice, certainly go for it. But all your fruit and vegetables you should rinse and, properly, which can eliminate any pesticides or anything you're worried about as well. So we have our natural grade, right? Natural versus processed. We have our organic versus not. And then we have nutrients. Is it nutrient dense or not? Does it contain all the vitamins and minerals, right? So we know as people, most of us know, okay, well, I have to meet my calories, my macros. And that's another thing I try to remind people, my clients, my students, is that's not just about macros. We're like, well, I my macros haven't gone over my macros and I'm not losing weight. You have to make sure you're eating the right foods, because whole foods, foods that have fiber, that have nutrients, that have protein, they are digested, more to prevent weight gain. And it's very easy to eat within your macros, but if you're not eating the right types of food, that can be an issue. All right. When it comes to nutrient density as well, having and Dr. Doe showing her plate, it looks awesome, very colorful, very nice. But having a nice nutrient dense, colorful plate is really the way to go. And really emphasizing whole foods. It's very easy to get lost in the marketing and in the hype, especially because, we don't see a lot of commercials about bell peppers, right? About broccoli, but we'll see all the, for this ready-made food or this program that'll deliver the food to you and frozen meals, because those companies, invest in their marketing. Most farmers, no one's investing in a good lifestyle. There's no one that can put a stamp on it and sell it and profit it. So you're not going to see that, but it's important to really follow that lifestyle nonetheless and not get caught up and lost in all this marketing and all that mess. So I see a couple people showing me their skillet and it looks amazing. If you have some nice steam going on and your vegetables are looking a little tender but still crunchy, then it's perfect. Go ahead and take it off the heat. One thing we don't want to do is overcook our vegetables. A lot of vegetables, especially B vitamins, and some minerals as well, are heat sensitive, meaning if you overcook them, you're losing vitamins and minerals. In fact, the same goes with canning. And most people don't know this, but canning typically involves low grade heat application for a long period of time. They put these vegetables in a can, they apply heat for however long. And, even though that's convenient, right? We know we can store it on the shelf for a long time. That can degrade a lot of the minerals. Cooking our vegetables just how we did, cutting them, cooking them, not overcooking them is certainly the best way. So go ahead and set our vegetables to the side. Here.
We got another question.
Absolutely.
This question is, how long do we cook the veggies? Do veggies lose nutrients if cooked versus raw?
That's an awesome question. And yes, absolutely. So we just talked a little bit about heating and how that can contribute to nutrient loss. Also cutting. So technically, it's better to cut your vegetables right when you're ready to use them versus, chopping them all at the beginning of the week, because exposure to oxygen can degrade certain vitamins as well. And yes, how long we cook them certainly matters. With peppers, with broccoli, with anything, I always say cook it as minimal as possible. The great thing about vegetables is that most vegetables you don't really have to cook. You just have to wash them, make sure they're clean, and you can eat them. You can eat bell peppers raw, but for this dish, we do want them hot. So the best way is to get them to where they're nice and hot, a little cooked, but still nice and firm, still nice and crunchy, and they're going to maintain a lot of nutrients. And anybody that wants to just do a quick taste, you're gonna realize just why we marinated our vegetables, because this pepper right here is on a whole nother level. Everybody just give it a good taste. Wow, that's good.
I like the way that you showed me how I can season my vegetables and with the marinade. That is a great way. I never even thought about doing that in a bag like that.
Oh my gosh, I'm like shocked.
Yeah, that's good.
The other day, I'm still shocked. It's good, right? It's good.
It's an easy way, and it's uniform, and then I don't have to put oil inside in the skillet because it's already have the oils and the vinegars and stuff. Yeah, good.
Absolutely. We don't have to add oil every time we put something in the skillet. We certainly don't have to. So now we're going to go ahead and throw our chicken. That's going to take a little longer. So we're going to cook our chicken, and then I'll show you guys the quick mango salsa recipe. So have our chicken here. We're going to go ahead and throw it in the skillet. Nice and marinated. We got a nice amount of oil in there, which that's another key with cooking chicken breast. I get a lot of questions about.
Yeah, that's great.
What's that?
I said that's a great. I mean, you showed me 2 new things that I never did before with the marinade.
Marinate the vegetables
and the chicken like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the chicken. Yeah.
Absolutely. And with chicken breast, the oil-based marinade is really key. One of the most common questions that I get is, how do I make chicken breast without it being dry? Right? No one likes dry chicken breast.
Right.
We've all probably. It's hard to chew. It's hard to swallow. No fun. So with nice tender chicken breast, we have our oil-based marinade. Again, being mindful of cutting that oil across servings. You don't have to be scared of oil, but you also don't want to overdo it. So the best way to do it, instead of doing it in the skillet before you cook, use the marinade. It's going to make it to the skillet eventually, and it's still going to perform that same non-stick function. But when you use it as a marinade, it helps to pull in some of that moisture, because the chicken will actually soak up a little bit of that olive oil, which is a healthy fat. We have it in a proper portion, and keep it nice and tender. So now we have our chicken cooking over our hot skillet. It looks really nice already. My motto with chicken breast is low and slow. So it's nice, and we see it's getting a little bit white, got a little steam coming. Make sure it's enough where it's actually cooking, but we're gonna put it on low and put our lid on and let that simmer. And then one more key, and this I really recommend. There's no reason why everyone should not do this, right? Food thermometers. We've probably seen them on the cooking channel. We probably maybe use a food thermometer. It has changed the game for me, okay? So when it comes to, oh, is my chicken done? Oh, is my salmon done? A lot of us use our eyes to judge, which is okay. And it's a survival technique, right? But what I found is with a lot of my clients and students is that people, especially people that are more scared of foodborne illness, which I don't blame them, because we should be very scared of foodborne illness. It's nothing to play with. But for people that are afraid of that, they tend to overcook their meat. They tend to say, well, I know this is cooked because it's shrunk up all the way and it's dry, so I know it's cooked. But it's like, well, now it's overcooked. So the good thing with the food thermometer is that you can cook it to that safe temperature where you can pretty much guarantee that there's no illness in there. And if you cook it very close, meaning you don't go too far over, you definitely don't want to go under. But if you don't go too far over, that's when your meat is going to be as nice and as tender as possible. And that's what you want, right? We don't want tough chicken. We don't want tough steak. We don't want any of our meat really to be tough. We want it to be nice and tender and moist and flavorful. So the food thermometer really is key. And with chicken, the safe temperature is 165. So we have temperatures, different temperatures for different meats, right? Our fish is like usually 130 to 145, 145 being our more fatty fish, versus our beef, versus, everything has, every category of meat will have different temperatures. But with our chicken, again, we're aiming for that 165. And if we look here, we actually have a little bit of heat going. I'm going to turn it down a little. But it's looking good. It's looking perfect, actually. So we have our chicken going here. And give that chicken a nice stir. Make sure it's cooking evenly. A good strategy to make sure that, because sometimes, when you get towards the end, you may notice that some of the pieces on that, different pieces are less cooked than other pieces. Good way to prevent that is to constantly move the chicken from the outside of the skillet towards the middle, because typically the middle chicken will cook a little bit faster. So it's a little hot. All right, so we have our, show you in the camera now. All right, nice. So we have our chicken going here, beautiful. So a good way to do it is to take our chicken from the outside. See, this is a little bit more raw. We're going to move it towards the inside and really rotate our meat. Chicken is looking great. So go ahead and let that cook. As you guys can see, this process is going by very fast. It's not taking very long at all, and that is key, because as much as I love being in the kitchen, sometimes I don't have time for all that. So we want to make sure that we are being efficient when we. That's the goal. So let's get into this mango salsa. I see Dr. Doe's skillet. It's looking excellent. Absolutely. And make sure you guys, if you have your thermometer, make sure you're checking it. and see where your chicken is. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and check mine just to give you guys a ballpark of how fast it's going. My chicken is cut into small tender, so I might reach 165 a little bit quick. So I'm at about 130. Got 130, got 122, 135. So I got some ways to go, but it's definitely not that far away. All right. So just a nice little quick mango salsa, right? So what we're gonna do here is, and actually I want you guys to tell me what is the important components in your favorite salsa. Think about your favorite salsa and what does it almost always have to have. You guys can unmute or drop it in the chat. What is your favorite type of salsa, or rather, what does your favorite salsa have to have always?
Tomatoes.
Absolutely. Tomatoes is pretty much critical, right? What else? Onion, right? Definitely want some onion in mine.
Yes.
Onion. I like garlic.
Garlic. I like green pepper.
Red pepper, you said?
Red pepper and green pepper.
Red pepper, green pepper, absolutely. Garlic. I like a mango salsa. I like a pineapple salsa. I love citrus. I've had peach salsa. So with salsa, you definitely want to have your staples, right? You want to have at least your tomatoes, garlic, and onion. If you ask me, that's the minimum. But I always like to add a citrus. So whether it's pineapple, whether it's mango, peach, some type of citrus in there is always great. So we're going to start by chopping our tomato. So we have our, go ahead and slice the core out here.
I like cilantro.
Oh, absolutely. Salsa, absolutely. So you can get as creative, a little fancy. I'm gonna do a nice, basic, quick salsa. So we're gonna chop this tomato in slices. Now we're going to take it here. I always have to chop nice and efficiently. So once we have our nice slices, we'll chop it down the side. You see, we already got it nice and small. We don't need it much smaller than this. And be very careful. Remember, always cut away from the body, not towards. And always remember to hold your knife with your thumb kind of pointing towards the tip. That allows for maximum control with your knife so you don't accidentally cut yourself. Definitely reduces the chance of injury. I can't tell how many adults I see cutting like this. It's like, no, that is one of the most dangerous things you can do, or people that will take a vegetable and cut towards their hand. You never want to cut towards, always away from the body. All right, so we have our tomato. So now we have it in nice small strips. So we're gonna just get a little smaller. And how small you want it can definitely go on preference. Some people like more creamy salsa. Some people like more coarse, chunky salsa. I like mine a nice blend of both. And I'll show you guys a kitchen tool that you can invest in if you like, that can help with stuff like that. But for now, we're gonna take our tomatoes, nice tomatoes, put them in a nice container, preferably something with a lid because you probably guess we're gonna shake this up at the end. All right, now that we have our tomato, let's do our onion next. So, quick way to slice the onion. I always love to show people this because a lot of people spend a lot of time chopping onions. I know when I was young, I certainly did. But the best thing you can do is take an onion, chop it in half, right? So I already have it peeled in half, but you're chopping it long way. So the stem was here and here. So we cut the stems and we're chopping it long ways in half from stem to stem. And now we're gonna place it sideways on our cutting board flat. And we're gonna cut in little sections, again, from stem to stem. So we're gonna start very close to the base, cut it towards the center, from the outside towards the center. We're gonna cut it all the way around. And you don't wanna cut all the way through the back because as you can imagine, they start to separate. So we have them still nice and connected here. So we're gonna cut nice sections here. Being very careful not to cut ourselves, always cutting away from the body. And once we have it nice and cut in our sections, we're going to use our knife to cut along here, which will save us so much time. So now we have instantly diced onions. And the closer, skinnier slices you do will give you smaller onions, but I want mine a little bit chunky. But we see it's literally that easy. And I don't want too many onions in here, so I'm gonna stop there. But that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna take our onions here. All right. Next is maybe our favorite ingredient, or at least our guest ingredient will be our mango. So we're going to take our mango. This is a nice, fresh, organic mango. I got these from Whole Foods. Now, I'm not somebody that gets everything from Whole Foods, but if you are like, where can I get some good produce? Most Whole Foods do have some nice, beautiful, fresh produce, organic options or traditional options. At least here in Florida, they're not much more expensive. Produce is not much more expensive than your general store. So we're gonna cut slices off of both sides. Let's actually check our chicken really fast, make sure we don't overcook it. I'm just gonna give mine. This might be close too. All right, and it's always good to actually rinse your thermometer off between uses. Really wash it off, because if it's done now, we don't want to contaminate it with any undercooked juices. So we wash our thermometer. This is at 168, 170, so not too far above 165. It's okay if you go a little bit above. You definitely don't want to get into the 200s and the 210s, because that is very overcooked. But if we see here, we're at we're about right on point. 160. And make sure too, when you are testing your meat, the best thing you can do is get the biggest piece of meat, or the piece of meat that looks the least done, and measure that. Because if the biggest, least cooked piece is done, then everything's done. So this is a nice big piece. And whenever you insert your probe, you want to put it in the thickest part of the chicken. And this is actually at 157, so we might need a little bit longer. 75. So we're going to do this just a little bit longer, because we have a couple pieces that are still cooking. But if you are looking and you're like, oh, the juice is running clear, it's nice and firm, then you should be in pretty good shape. But mine is cooking nice, low and slow. So we're going to let it cook just a little bit longer. Nice and low. All right, so now that we have that complete, we're going to take our mangoes, and we're going to use small knife. You can use a paring knife. I'm going to use a steak knife because it's all the same. You want to be very careful. This is one of the few times where you kind of will. You need to be very, very careful. But the best thing you can do really is cut along your mango, but you want to cut down to the peel. So cut in lines, and we're going to cut down to the peel. So this is bonus. I know this isn't on there, you guys' shopping list, but this is just bonus. Certainly not required, but if you have your nice favorite salsa, you can use that too. And once we have our mango nice and cubed, we'll just take it and scoop it into our bowl. So you'll see the mangoes come out in nice chunks, nice and easy. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we'll do the same thing here. Be very careful. Cut it in a nice grid, cut into the peel, but not necessarily through the peel. Be very careful. A nice grid. And I'm gonna actually cut it up just a little more. Did I lose I might have lost my camera. All right,
okay, there it is.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so, yeah, we're gonna chop it a little more. Let's go ahead and scoop. Let's get them into some little bit smaller pieces. Totally preference. And now we're gonna put it in our thing. So we have that. Again, if you want to add your cilantro, if you want to add you know, pepper, lime juice, whatever, you can certainly do that. You don't want to add too much liquid because, you know, we don't want too much liquid in our sauce. So you can add a little bit of your lemon pepper if you like, whatever you want. So this is what it looks like here. Now we're going to shake it on up. I mean, this right here, whenever I make this, I always tell my clients and students to taste it. Usually they're like, oh my God, I could eat this alone. And I know I could. It's gonna make a great addition to our meal. All right, and then that is our salsa. So you can do it just like that. Again, some people like their salsa a little bit more creamy, a little bit more smooth. I actually have an emulsifier that I just bought that I love. I'm not someone who has a million kitchen tools. In fact, I love to combine. I love to use things for multiple uses. So I'll show you a little bit what that emulsifier can do really quick. Let's check our chicken. I'm pretty confident that it's done now. Oh yeah, 175, 186, 187. Yeah, we're in good shape. We are in good shape. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna go ahead and take that off of the heat. Turn my skillet off. And I'll show you guys what this emulsifier can do. So this emulsifier, we have a little blade here. And when we press our button, our trigger, it emulsifies our food. You can use it to make gravy, soup, sauces, but we're just gonna press it in here a little bit. And it's gonna mash just a little bit of our salsa. We're not gonna mash all of it. What we're gonna do now that we've kind of liquefied a bit of it, we're just gonna give it a quick stir. So now we have a nice creamy salsa with some nice chunks too. So to me, that's the best texture. Ideal for sure. And that's it. That's a wrap. So let me go ahead and grab a plate, show you what that final plate looks like. We can call it, we can talk, ask some questions, have some conversation. All right. Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna show my plate. I want to see yours. Yeah, you got a white plate. That's it.
You know, we got for the presentation, you know.
For the presentation. I'm gonna start showing mine at the camera.
Perfect, perfect. So we'll do our chicken. Beautiful, tender. Oh, I can't wait for this. We're gonna have to break some bread today, y'all, and enjoy this food. We got our peppers. And, you know, we got a nice little serving here, probably about 4 ounces of chicken, but I'm gonna just do as much vegetables as I want because these are non-starchy vegetables, meaning maximum nutrient, very moderate amount of calories compared to our other ingredients. And our nice little salsa. I mean, just beautiful. And again, you can do as much salsa as you want to, because that's a little bit of fruit, lots of vegetables, lots of flavor. And, you know, however you desire to top it. Dr. Doe mentioned some chipotle, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a little.
Yeah, do some bam it, bam. That's it. All right.
Wham, wham. Maybe a little cayenne. I like it hot. I'm bold, little cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
Do a little lemon pepper on top too. Why not?
Why not? But look, I'm gonna show my plate. I garnish mine with a little bit of lime, and then you can garnish it with some green onion. But I got lime. Yeah, that looks beautiful, Isaac. I'm gonna show mine to the camera as well. If you can put yours in a plate, folks, show us at the camera what you got. Show us what you got.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful, Isaac. Yes, folks, show us what you have. Yes.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see those plates.
Let's see it. I'm showing mine. And this is going to be a recording. So it'll be nice, y'all. If you're looking at this later, take a snapshot of your plate and then send it to us. How do you send it? You can send it, go to our Facebook at Vicki Doe Fitness, our Facebook, and put a snapshot of your spicy mango chicken medley, and we'll show everybody what you got.
Absolutely.
Let me see yours. Woo! Yes, yes. That looks good.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. What they say, beautiful, beautiful.
Absolutely.
And guess what, guys? That didn't take long at all. So you can do a heart healthy dish with all the flavors. You know, I'm up here in my office kitchen, and I know folks that are in the building, they're saying, oh my goodness, what am I smelling up there? All the good flavors. Yes. Right, Isaac?
Absolutely. And you made a good point that it didn't take that long. And you know, we know some people can come with those excuses. It takes too long. It's too expensive. But we just showed you it's not that long. And what I found is that a lot of people, again, it's not about the budget or the time. If you put these raw foods in front of people, if you give them a bell pepper, a few heads of broccoli, you know, some chicken, then they may not know what's exactly to do with it. You know, they may not. But we're showing you how, you know, what you can do. And it's all about investing in yourself, investing in that learning process. So we thank you guys for coming, and, you know, keep your eyes peeled for more. I know we have a couple more of these plans. So, we're talking about a couple more. So keep your eyes peeled.
You got to save some. Look, you got to save some of this delicious stuff for your family. You don't just eat it all up. You got to save it for your family.
This is Bay's plate. I'm gonna save her pretty.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So listen, do you have any questions for Isaac? I love this. And we're going to add an extra step to this recipe. I'm going to repost it on our VickiDoeFitness.com, spicy mango chicken medley, but we're going to add an extra step, and that's marinating the vegetables. Made a big difference. Thank you, Isaac.
Absolutely. Y'all like those peppers? Y'all taste them? Because it's a big difference.
A big difference. And then especially if you put your seasoning in it as well, when it marinates as well, for that and your chicken.
Absolutely. A little sandwich bag does the trick.
Does the trick. Yes.
We talked about a lot of good topics today. Does anyone have any questions? Anything they want to know about heart healthy eating, about nutrition, about cooking? I mean, this is a good time to ask any questions. Absolutely.
Yes, Isaac, I have a question.
Absolutely.
When I know when we're preparing these meals, we prepare them fresh. Is the goal to just always prepare fresh, or if we heat them up, what's the best way to heat it up? Should we be using a microwave?
That's such a good question. And fresh is always better, but you know, if you have a nice fresh meal like this, which this is already fresh, right? We cook our peppers and broccoli very minimally. So if you want to store it and reheat it, that's totally fine. I mean, every time we reheat it, we will lose a little bit of nutrients. So it's important not to heat things over and over again. I've heard of some people, they'll take a big, you know, pan of food that they may have made. They'll put it in the oven, eat a little, put it back in the fridge, put it in the oven. It's not very common, but that's a way that over time you can really gradually lose a lot of those nutrients. But, you know, fresh is ideal, but I'm a big proponent of meal prepping because, you know, to have a meal like this prepared already and to be able to reheat it, that is great. Nutrient dense, certainly a much more nutrient dense option than a lot of your fast, convenient, quick choices that you may make otherwise. So microwaving is totally fine. The best way, if you meal prep for a week, and I always tell my clients, students this, is that you want to freeze anything you want to eat beyond 2 days. So if you make your food for a week, anything that you don't want to eat, maybe today or tomorrow, put in the freezer. And that's going to help for food safety because, you know, my little brother, I had to check him. I'm like, how old is this food? I think I made it last week. You can't be storing most food in the fridge for a week. That's dangerous, and that's a good way to, you know, get food poisoning. So you want to, anything beyond 2 days, you want to put in the freezer. People love to meal prep. So I'm like, I'll meal prep for the whole week. You don't want to be eating food that's been in the refrigerator for a week, most food. So the best way, again, is to freeze it. Put it in your nice little containers with lids like these, right? And freeze it. And the best way to reheat it, you can certainly reheat it in a microwave. If you have time and if you're patient, the defrost option is the best way. I've reheated food with the defrost. So you use the defrost to get it to where it's kind of a nice thawed consistency. And then once it's thawed, you use the regular function to actually heat the food up and make it hot. But that is the best way to get a nice fresh texture. I've done it with all types of food, and you almost can never tell that it was frozen. Versus if you heat it on the regular setting straight from frozen, there's a small difference. Not a huge difference, but definitely a noticeable difference.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
Absolutely. Very good question. Any more questions? I think they were talking, Dr. Doe. I think you might be on mute. I can't hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm glad that you really talked about freezing and not having your food in the refrigerator, because yeah, that's how you can get food poisoning, by having those foods in your refrigerator for, you know, weeks, you know, and quite frankly, you know, 2 days. And my honey sweet, you know, he always knows how I am. You know, I'm always either tossing the stuff or throwing it in the freezer. I put a lot of stuff, even when I get it from the store. I put a lot of stuff and take the time to take it from the packages or whatever, and then freeze it. If you're getting salad from the store, don't you know, a lot of times we have a tendency of overbuying those whole foods, those fresh food. And no, just buy exactly what you need, and then a little bit more to put in the freezer, because you're just going to be wasting food. It's going to, you know, you put it in the refrigerator, it's going to be done. What do you say on that, Isaac?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So that's a part of planning too. Plan your grocery list. That's why we had the grocery list for this. Some people do figure out what meals, and that's what in our program, the step-by-step weight loss bootcamp program, we have the custom menus that Isaac, he, along with our registered dietitian, they took the time to get these custom menus. 1600 calorie, 1800 calorie. Once you find out what's your ideal calorie that you should eat and what you should do a day, and then you follow that. But a part of that is planning ahead of time, get your grocery list and all of that. So it takes planning.
Absolutely. It takes planning. I never go to the grocery store without a list, because one, you'll end up with things that you don't need, and then you also end up without things that you do need. So I always try to do an inventory before I leave. As I run out of stuff, I have a quick note on my phone, a notepad, you know, and then my notes of all the things I need, and then ingredients, seasoning, spices, chicken, kale. You know, as I run out, that's certainly a good tip to kind of stay organized and keep those staple foods. And it's so important too. Sometimes I find certain meals that I love. I'm like, oh my gosh, this was such a quick, healthy breakfast, and I love it. It's delicious. I'll write it down in my notes. You know, this is one of my go-tos now. Now I have options of these are, you know, 3 easy go-to breakfast options. And the step-by-step bootcamp has like a gold mine of those. I mean, go-to lunches, go-to breakfast, go-to dinners, and they're all simple, right? We see guys, this recipe, our shopping list was very minimal. I mean, we're talking about minimal work with maximum benefit. And the bootcamp is full of that, chock full of shopping list recipes. This is one of many. So yeah, absolutely. And very, very good question. Any more questions?
Oh yeah, I see Robinette's. Woohoo!
Yeah, Robinette got her presentation on.
She got it right.
Absolutely. Excellent, excellent.
Yes. And then one more thing I want to read to you guys. You know, we're going to put this spicy mango chicken medley. We're going to repost it on our VickiDoeFitness.com, our website. You go to the homepage, hit the blog red button. In the side, you hit delicious recipes, and you can scroll down and find it, or you can put in the search spicy mango chicken medley, and the recipe will come up. But I want to tell you, I want to look, you know, we got to worry about calories. In this dish, you only have 335 calories. You know, at most, if you add more things to it, at most that are more vegetables, maybe a little bit more of the sauce, you might can get up to at least 400 calories. But that's really you're going to be full, and it's less than 500 calories.
Absolutely.
So that is really great. Then if you look at your fat, just 4 grams. Your trans fat, the bad fat, 0. Carbohydrates, 60 grams. Sugar, 0. Sodium, and we remember we said heart healthy, low sodium, only 167 milligrams. And remember, we supposed to, if we're really doing our heart healthy eating, you know, 2,500 milligrams of sodium a day. If you're doing heart healthy, you got to kick it down even further, 1,500 milligrams of sodium during the day, for a day. This is only 167 milligrams of salt. Fiber. Hey, we talk about fiber. Plenty of fiber here because of the bell pepper, the broccoli, all of that. 13 grams. And then protein, 15 grams. But if you want to do like Isaac said, if you want to, this meal could be a plant-based meal, and instead of putting the chicken, you can add either the tofu chunks, you know, saute them. You do it just like you're doing chicken. That's pretty good. You can throw in some beans, you know, very good. And so, yeah, I think we picked a winner, Isaac.
Oh, absolutely. The peppers alone are making my day, but absolutely. Wonderful dish. As Dr. Doe mentioned, a very important point of being filling, right? Because as far as meals and starch, it really matters about your goals. I always tell people, you got to earn that starch. Now, if you work out and you do what you're supposed to do, sometimes, you know, a moderate amount of brown rice, potatoes is a good thing. But, you know, if you're trying to lose weight, having a meal like this that has protein, you know, that has the fiber, that has the vegetables, that has the nutrients, right? It's going to be filling. You know, the ironic thing is that if we just, I always tell people, if you eat the right foods, you don't have to focus so much on the calories, because you can't overeat this stuff. You know, you try to eat 500 calories worth of bell peppers, you're going to be stuffed before you even get there. And that's the point. That's important. You want to be satisfied. You want to leave the table satisfied. So this nice, generous serving of non-starchy vegetables is going to fill us up. It's going to help us to feel satisfied. What's most important too is the nutrients, the B vitamins. So a quick note on vitamins. Vitamins are our body's really the key to our bodies creating energy. Our bodies cannot create energy without vitamins, especially B vitamins. So if we eat a meal that's high in carbs, right, high in starch, high in sugar, high in fat, but low in vitamins, we're going to be getting all that. We're going to be getting all those calories, all those carbs, but we're not going to necessarily have the key to turn it into fuel. So what's going to happen if we can't turn those calories into fuel, somebody? If our body can't turn the calories into fuel, into that fuel that makes us feel awake, right? Because that's another thing a lot of my clients ask me. Well, I just don't feel awake. I'm tired. I just don't know why. I've just been so tired lately. what is going to be the alternative if our body can't turn those calories into fuel? Somebody, what do you think? And it's okay if you're not sure. You can go ahead and guess.
It'll turn into fat.
It's going to turn.
Thank you.
Absolutely, it's going to turn that into fat. So, you know, even if you do have a little bit of potato, a little bit of rice, if you've earned it, right? If you've done your workout, you're like, okay, I need a little bit more with this dish. I need to bring it up a little bit in the calories. Have your vegetables. Always have your vegetables. Don't omit those vegetables, because that is the difference between your body turning these calories into fuel, into energy, right? Versus fat. A lot of us think just because we eat, we have energy. No. Our body is if it doesn't turn the calories into actual energy, it's going to turn it into fat. And these vegetables, these vitamins, these peppers, these colors on your plate is the difference between fuel and fat. So if you're one of those people that's like, oh my gosh, I'm just tired, I just want more energy, I just woke up and I'm still tired. You know, I get that a lot from clients. How am I tired straight out of bed? Vegetables can help. Vegetables and water as well. That's another thing, actually. It's a critical step in creating energy is water. The last step uses water. So if we're dehydrated, if we're not drinking enough water, you know, that can be another easy way to turn calories into fat versus calories into fuel. So while we eating this meal, make sure we get a nice tall glass of water as well.
Okay. And so, yeah, I think that we can wrap this up, because we did what we came to do. And what do you say, folks? It's time to go and eat. Now, you know, I be eating, you know, I don't want people to see me eating too much. So we better turn the camera off. But yes, I'm so glad. Let's thank Isaac. Give a hands up, thumbs up for Isaac coming and dropping a bunch of knowledge here for us. We appreciate you, Isaac.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Dr. for hosting.
Yes, thank you for coming. This ends our two-day Get Back to Healthy Living series. Crush your cravings. And I want you guys to go right now, go to VickiDoeFitness.com and scroll down, hit Bootcamp, the Icon Bootcamp, sign up for our step-by-step weight loss bootcamp masterclass, and use the promo code CRUSH, CRUSH. It's 50% off. These are the kind of things that will happen in our program, our cooking demo. And yes, sign up today. I can't wait for you to join us. Okay, pay attention and make sure that you keep an eye out for all of these series that we're having. We're going to have another one just like this next month, April. All right, and peace out. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining us.